Want to go to Florida, California, Mexico, England, France, or even North Korea? Maybe not. Regardless of where you want to go, this video is going to teach you how to find the cheapest flights to the destination of your choice. What's going on, guys? Welcome to How to Book Cheap Flights Part 1. Probably going to be doing 2 to 3 parts to this just because there are so many ways and methods to find cheap flights for great prices. The first thing you're going to want to do is open up Google Flights. It's honestly the best and fastest way to find flights for any airline at really good prices. So a little bit of a tip here. Try to keep your dates as wide open as possible. It's going to allow you to get the best and cheapest results when you do that. It's by no means do you have to. If you have set dates where you have to travel or you want to travel, you're still going to be able to find good flights, but the absolute best results will come when you keep your dates as wide open as possible. I want to quickly talk about the 6-week rule. The 6-week rule is when you book your flight 6 weeks in advance, and it's typically suggested that you do it on a Tuesday because that's apparently the ideal time to find the best prices. Now, for sure this method probably works, and I would suggest you look at it, but at the same time, I wouldn't suggest that's the only way you book your flights. For example, I was looking to go to San Jose del Cabo, Mexico at the end of July, early August. And when I was looking at this, it was back in January. So that's an 8-month gap between booking and traveling. This would be frowned upon by many people because they're saying you're booking it way too early and you're not going to find a good price. Well, I found a flight from Montreal to San Jose del Cabo through Houston, and it was $440, I think, which is really good considering the distance and how good the connections were. It was just a really good deal, and this was 8 months in advance. So my advice is to look at the 6-week rule, but also look months in advance because you never know what you're going to find. You can't only choose to look at it one way. Look at it from all the possibilities. So let's show you guys how Google Flights works. So my home airport is Montreal, and let's say I'm trying to go to Halifax. Boom. I want to go, maybe not these dates here. Let's pick something else. Let's say I want to go in June. So the 5th, let's say we want to go for a week to Halifax. Let's take a look. So here are the best departing flights, meaning that these are the shortest non-stop flights for the best price at the ideal times. So as you can see here, we have 3 different airlines: Porter, WestJet, Air Canada. Now in some cases, it is important to know that up here, you're going to get the shortest flights, but they're going to be more expensive than ones down here. In this specific case, it's not the case because, well, these are just what's available and they're the best. So Halifax, there's not going to be a lot of connections while you're going to Halifax from Montreal because it's such a short distance. So let's look at this one here. It's with Porter, 8:30 a.m. You arrive at 11:11, and it's on a Dash 8 in economy. The only thing is that you don't have overhead bin access, meaning that you can't take a carry-on bag. You can only take a small personal item, and it has to be able to fit under the seat. So right off the bat, I wouldn't pick this one. I just wouldn't. So moving on to WestJet, 9:35 you arrive just after 12, an hour and 44. Again, it's going to be on a Dash 8. 3:18, not bad. Can't complain. This one here is probably the best one. It's an hour and a half, 3 to 5:30. Great. It's 2-hour difference because there's an hour time change from Montreal to Halifax. Anyways, not the point. This is on an A320, so it's a bigger plane. There's Wi-Fi. You got video. So ideally, this is the best one you want to pick. So then we can take a look down here. These ones are all non-stop, different times. If these times suit you better, go for it. And right here it says prices are currently low, $52 cheaper than usual for your date. So that's a nice piece of information here. So before we actually select anything, let's just assume we don't want to spend $318, even though it says prices are currently low and they're actually quite good. We can click this button here, which will track every single flight from Montreal to Halifax on Wednesday, June 5th returning on June 12th the round trip price. So if the price, let's say, goes lower than 318, let's say it goes down to 290, you're going to get an email from Google Flights to your Gmail account that you have to have linked, which is up here, saying flights to Halifax on June 5th, coming back June 12th, have lowered to this or have gone up to this. It lets you track all flights. So let's click on this one here with Air Canada, and now we got to select a returning flight. So these are the best returning flights, 318 nonstop. But you see this one, here's a stop in Fredericton, 20-minute in Fredericton. So you look on this, you're gonna take a Beach 1900 small plane. No, I would not do that. So, and then as you can see here, St. John, or one in Charlottetown, stops. There's no point to these stops because you can fly nonstop for the same price and it's less time. So 5:45 a.m. or 8 a.m. I'm gonna pick 8 a.m. I don't want to have to get up that early in the morning. So let's pick that. So now we have our entire trip selected. It's with Air Canada. We're flying on a 175 and a 320. Really good price. But again, let's say we're not ready to book it yet, or we don't want to spend that much money. Well, what we can do, instead of tracking all the flights, we can track these two specific ones together, meaning that you're only going to get emails when this group of 2 flights goes up or down in price. So this is also a good feature if you don't want to get like 100 emails a week. I'm not saying you're going to get 100 emails a week, but you're only going to get emails regarding these 2 flights. So the track price feature is a really, really good way to use Google Flights because it'll allow you to find your ideal price. The next thing I want to show you guys is the date grid and the price graph. So what the date grid allows you to do is to change your dates. Maybe you want to fly it on the Monday and come back to Sunday instead. It will show you what the price is. Now for this specific trip, Montreal to Halifax, as you can see, the prices are pretty they're pretty constant for this time of year, 318, so you're not going to have any fluctuation. But let's say you're flying to Florida or California or Mississippi or whatever. It's going to be pretty different. There's going to be different prices. So moving on to the price graph now, it's like the same thing. I find this easier to look at. It's just, I don't know, I'm not great with math, so even though that's not a lot of math involved in the dates, but this is just nicer for me. So from June 1st to June 8th on a 7-day trip, you can also select whether you want 6, 7-day, whatever. For 7-day trips, June 1st to the 8th all the way to June 19th to the 26th, the price is constant at $318. But let's say we want to go on the 20th to the 27th, oh, it goes up to $351. Or if we look here, $408. Or if we look all the way down here, end of July into August, $483. So it's just a good way to look at what the different prices are for specific 7-day trips, or let's say we go down on 5-day trips. $318, pretty constant, remains, and then goes up around the same time. So it's a really good feature to use if your dates aren't specific and you can go whenever you want. Alright guys, the next thing I want to tell you about is something that everyone needs to know when using Google Flights, because the map feature on Google Flights is really, really helpful. So it's really important that you know your cities and know that what airports are around each city. So for example, I have a trip already selected here, Montreal to Florida from the 5th to the 10th of June. And I want to go to the Miami area. Let's say I want to go to the Miami area, or just this part of Florida. So we have Miami, Fort Lauderdale, West Palm Beach. Fort Lauderdale is about half an hour, 40 minutes from Miami with all the traffic and everything. And then West Palm Beach is about an hour and a half up the highway or the freeway, whatever you want to call it. So Miami, 448. Yeah, I mean it's all right, not bad. But then look at this, Fort Lauderdale, 379, and then West Palm Beach at 446, still $2 better than Miami. If you're not picky on where you have to go, this is a great way to find the cheapest flight, because like, look at that, 379, half an hour distance, and it's the same general area. That's way better. And I can tell you from experience, Fort Lauderdale is a great airport to fly into because it's much smaller and it's just easier to navigate than Miami. Fort Lauderdale is a little older and it's not the nicest, but it's by far the most efficient way. And there's more places like this. For example, let's go look at California. Click on California. Let's use an example of LA. say we want to go to LA on the 5th to the 10th of June. Look at the airports that are in the LA area. Ontario is a little far out, so I wouldn't recommend using Ontario. But look, we got Santa Ana, which is the John Wayne Airport, Long Beach, LAX, and Burbank. Santa Ana is over $100 cheaper than LA. Sure, it's not right downtown, but for some people, that's going to be worth it to go to LA. Right? It's a good way to look at it. Maybe people have to fly to LAX, and that's just what they got to do. Sure, but if you don't, definitely look at the surrounding airports, because there's a good chance you're going to find a better deal. And then one last example. Let's go simple one, Toronto. There's 2 airports in Toronto. Well, that didn't work. Alrighty. So I had to pull up this specific map here to get the 2 airports in Toronto. So Toronto, most of you probably already know this, but Toronto, you got the big Pearson Airport out in Mississauga, and then you have Billy Bishop, which is on Toronto Island, right downtown. In some cases, Billy Bishop's going to be the way to go. Other cases, it's going to be Mississauga. For convenience, if you want to be downtown right in the entertainment district, Billy Bishop's the way to go, because you're right there. Mississauga, it'd be a bit of an Uber drive, or if you're renting a car, Mississauga's probably the way to go. So let's exit out of here and look at this. So on these specific dates, YYZ, which is Pearson, is cheaper than YTZ, which is Billy Bishop. I mean, it's not a big difference if you want to spend $264 instead of $225 to get right into the city. That you can do that, but it's just a way to look at all options, right? You don't want to be one-sided and only look at one airport. Look at all the options, because you never know what you're going to find. Let's talk about the map in Google Flights. So if you're unsure of where you want to go, use the map. Don't select a location and hit enter. You don't even have to select your dates if you don't want to. So using Montreal as the home airport again, these are all the round-trip costs across Canada, the US, Mexico, and the Caribbean. These are the round-trip prices. Look, Halifax, $396, St. John's, $478. It's just an easier way to look at all of them instead of just specifically searching for cities. So we zoom in here. Let's say we zoom in on Georgia. Got Atlanta right here, Albany, Savannah, Augusta. You want to go to any of those places? Or you want to compare places in Georgia? There you go. Charleston, Columbia, Greenville, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. There you go. You could even go over to Europe if you wanted to. It's a really great feature if you're unsure of where you want to go. Now let's say you don't know where you want to go and you don't know when you want to go. You just want to find good prices. We click on flexible dates. This is a really cool feature. You can go all, so it'll show you April, May, June, July, August, September. So the next 6 months. Do you want to go for a weekend, 1 week, 2 weeks? So the week will be around a 7 to 10 day range. 2 weeks will be 14 to 17, and then weekend will be from a weekend to maybe 4 days max, let's just say. So let's say we want to travel in June, and we're going for a week. So let's click done. It's going to search every possible trip in June that's a week long from Montreal. So look at that, Nashville, $298. It's a good deal. One stop, 5 hours, 56 minutes. And I'm guessing we're going to stop, in Toronto. So that's a really good deal. $298 round trip for a week in Nashville. That's a really good deal. But we don't want to go to Nashville, let's say. Let's go back, take a look. Los Angeles, $652. No, it's a little expensive. Maybe we want to go to Columbus. $398 with Delta. And it's one stop in Minnesota. It's not bad. So it's another way to look at it if you're really flexible on your dates. Maybe you're not flexible on your dates, but you're flexible on location. It's just a really good way to look at all possibilities for a trip. The next thing I want to talk to you guys about are discount airlines. It's in the name. They're discount, they're budget, cheap. So for example, in the United States, you have AirTran Airways, Allegiant Air, Frontier, JetBlue, Southwest, Spirit, Sun Country, and Virgin America. These airlines you're going to find really cheap deals on. So if you're flying within the US, Spirit is really good, but keep this in mind, the quality is going to be not as great as, let's say, if you're flying Delta, American, or United. If you're more about budget than you are about comfort, I would definitely recommend using these airlines. And it's the same thing in Europe. There are discount ones in Europe. Look at this. Have EasyJet, Ryanair, Wizz Air. Ryanair, I can tell you, I've never been on it, but I've heard many people complain about the quality. You go on YouTube, you can look at the landing quality videos. If you're looking for a 5-star experience, definitely don't go Ryanair, but if you're looking for a 5-star price, definitely choose Ryanair or EasyJet. And then we can look in Canada. So in Canada, there's not really many. As you can see, the Google search didn't really find anything, but right here we have Swoop. Swoop's been in operation for just over a year, I believe, and they fly out of Halifax, Hamilton, London, Edmonton, Winnipeg, and Abbotsford. I believe those are all the locations in Canada. They fly to Vegas, Tampa, I believe, and a few other popular vacation destinations, but they're a really good priced airline in Canada, so I would definitely recommend checking them out. Maybe the quality isn't as good. I've never flown Swoop. I do know they are affiliated with WestJet, and I believe their only plane they have is a 737 that were once part of WestJet, so the quality is probably going to be better than, let's say, Spirit, Ryanair, or EasyJet, but keep in mind it's a discount airline, so again, don't expect a 5-star service. Alright guys, the last thing I want to cover in this video are hubs. It's another cool thing to know, because if you know your hubs, you know what airlines are cheaper out of different cities. So I'm going to get right into an example. Let's pick Delta. Click on this, boom, Delta hubs. So a hub is basically where certain airlines will fly more frequently out of. It's basically like their home airport. So Delta has a lot of home airports, same with United and American, right? So JFK in New York is a Delta hub, but you're going to know that JFK, LAX, Chicago, the bigger airports are not just only hubs to, let's say, Delta. They're going to be hubs for American, United, you name it. The bigger airports aren't just home to one airline. So you got JFK, LAX, Atlanta, LaGuardia, Detroit, Boston, Seattle, Charles de Gaulle, and Salt Lake City. Moving on to, let's say, American airline hubs. I already had it searched, so easy. Dallas, Fort Worth, O'Hare, LAX, JFK, Charlotte, Miami, Philly, LaGuardia, Washington, and Phoenix. So let's say you're flying from Dallas to JFK. Maybe your cheapest is going to be on American. JFK is not a great example because it's a huge airport. But let's say Dallas to Charlotte, 90% chance American is going to have your cheapest flight. Another thing also, if you're flying from Canada, let's say you're flying from Montreal to Philly, because Philly's a hub, you're going to find flights obviously with Canadian airlines like Air Canada, but you're also going to have them with American. So it's just an important thing to note. And then the last one, let's just check out United. Click on it, boom. Newark, San Francisco, LAX, O'Hare, George Bush in Houston, Delhi's in Washington, and then Denver. So if you're flying from, let's say, Newark to Denver, most likely it's going to be United. Not guaranteed, but it's important to know that. So guys, that's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. If you want to hear more travel tips, I have plenty more, and I have plenty of ideas for new videos. So be sure to let me know what you think, and we'll see you in the next video. Woo!